The Nomas podcast hotline. Chelo, and we're live. Chelo, welcome back to the Nomas podcast, episode 82.
At this point, it's just Angel and I.
Yeah.
They're going to be back for every single episode.
Man, hopefully you guys are liking this. So, pretty much like, I think we mentioned it in the past that, well, I don't think I've mentioned it in the past about like the struggles with having guests over. Have I talked about it?
I don't think you talked about that.
Okay, so I'll speak on it briefly and then also touch on why at the same time it's kind of fallen back to just being myself and Chelo to this current time. One, well, we obviously live together, right? So it's super easy for Chelo and myself to really like come to the backyard and record this podcast. For the people that don't know, we have the studio here in the backyard. So it's super, super convenient. So that's one of the reasons. Another reason is because I feel like at times, dealing with different guests or whatnot, and this hasn't been all the time, but at times dealing with the guests, it's trying to work different people's schedules, right?
Last minute cancellations too.
Yeah, cancellations. What else? What else have I mentioned when it comes down to guests that I've like?
Cancellations, schedules. Them not posting anything.
Yeah, that's another thing too. So I'm glad you brought that up. So in the past, I've had certain guests that they're super pumped. We have a really, really good time. We have the podcast, like it went really, really good. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Like I'm super happy because they were happy. They had a great experience. They share their gratitude with me, their excitement. And then when it comes down to the actual podcast itself, I'll send the invitation for collaboration, but they'll just see it. And by the way, I always tell the guest, like, you don't have to accept anything, right? But at least share it on your story. Why? Because that way your people can see it, and then it just creates more traction to the channel, to the podcast you were part of. But then there's times when, they won't post anything at all, right? So it's a little bit more... it's a little bit disappointing that, like, dude, we had such a good time. Your story is very, very good. And for you not to share anything, it's a little like, I don't know. It just like, it doesn't bug me, but it kind of like brings my morale down. Does that make sense to you? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's pretty much one of the multiple reasons why I kind of wanted to leave like my recurring guests coming in more than anything, Chelo, just because it's super, super convenient, So hopefully you guys are liking these type of episodes, or do you have anything else to add to that? Or how do I tell you when things like this happen?
I feel like before you tell me, I can just tell by your face expression.
But when is it that I tell you this, or when is it that you realize this? Is it when I do the podcast?
It's not when you do the podcast. It's like when it's a day before you post. When you start posting about the following podcast, that's when I'll be able to tell.
Okay, when I start posting content of that podcast,
yes,
right?
Mm-hmm.
That's when you realize, like I'm always like venting out to Chelo, like, man, this is happening, right? So it's just, and I guess the reason why I feel like this, it's because there's so much work behind the podcast, right? One thing is you guys see in the podcast the content going on, right? But there's so much work by editing, clipping the post, doing the captions, posting not only on YouTube, posting on TikTok, posting on Instagram, all these different platforms. It's a lot of work and time, right? And money at the same time. Mm-hmm. So just because the guest is not posting anything or not sharing anything, it just like freaking bumps me down.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say now. It's
what?
like, okay, if you're not gonna post anything, then why are you even on the podcast?
Yeah, that's the part that I don't get, right? Like, why? I don't get it. Why would you come to the podcast, have such a good time, and then not share? Why do you think it is?
I don't know.
Maybe shyness. Maybe they don't like. Okay, well, one of the.
What if they don't like how they look?
Yeah, that was one of the experiences I got, right? That one of the guests was like, oh man, I don't look like that. I think she only shared one of the clips or whatever on her story,
yeah, I
and she was
remember that
like,
one.
hey, I was on the podcast, but I don't look like that in person. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, dude, it's just like I thought you looked just like yourself, but apparently, like, I mean, it's because through the camera, there's really no filters, right? On through Instagram, TikTok, you can put filters over yourself, and then
Or edit your pictures.
or angle yourself in a specific way, right?
Yeah.
To make yourself look slimmer, etc., right? Or how your best angles, pretty much, right? Because there's been multiple times that I'm like, fuck, like I don't like my face expressions here and there, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, what's been your experience from being on the podcast? Do you feel like you catch yourself not liking specific things about yourself?
You know what makes me cringe?
What's that?
And listening again to the podcast.
To yourself?
To myself, yeah, I hate that. I don't know why.
Really? Well, it happens to me as well.
Like
But
I'm just like, oh, like I don't want to hear myself.
yeah, but what about like what about like maybe looking at yourself, not only listening to yourself, at times you're like, fuck, like, for instance, by the way, I think I mentioned it on the last podcast that I have a dentist appointment. And one of the things is I'm like, since the camera is it's like so close, and I see like I've been putting aside like making a dentist appointment for my bottom teeth
For the last 40 years.
Yeah. And so I'm finally gonna do it, and so that's one of my things that I struggle with, but I'm like finally gonna make that move. Is there something that you're like at times like, oh man, I didn't like the way I laughed or something like that?
I feel like there's always gonna be something like, oh, I don't like the way I look, the way I laugh,
or the way
my face expression,
or the way you pronounce
something.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, maybe that's why they don't like to post or share anything. But then why come, right?
Yeah.
By the way, I appreciate the people that come, right? Because regardless, at the end of the day, they're still sharing their story, right? So it's cool. Like, thank you for that. But then it's a little like
upsetting.
Yeah, it's a little bit upsetting that like, man, it was such a good time and you did such a great job. You should be proud of who you are and the story you just shared. I guess that's all, right? But at the end of the story, like I said, for now, it's going to be me and Chelo. And if I do have a couple recurring guests, I do have a couple of interviews, not necessarily interviews, but some guests that maybe you guys haven't seen on the podcast. That should be coming up hopefully soon, hopefully before the year ends. But hopefully you guys are finding the internal podcast interesting. Cool. By the way, we have the baby here. We have Teddy in here. This past weekend here in San Diego, it was freaking boiling, right? It was super, super hot, right?
Yes, it's been in the hundreds for this past week, no?
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to end today or tomorrow.
I hope so. I feel like we tried going to the park. We tried going to a lake, just to find a place where it was a little bit like more, I guess the weather being nicer, but it was still freaking
we ended
hot.
up back in the house.
Yeah, we came back, and we actually came back to the studio here. We put a couple of movies. Well, we watched one movie, and that's the way that we kept cool here. Yeah. Cool. Ready to start?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot.
Are you ready? Welcome to Hoy Nomas Podcast with Angel Houseman.
If you are someone that's suffering from hair loss, whether you're a man or a woman, there is now SMP, scalp micropigmentation. SMP is a non-surgical cosmetic procedure designed to create the appearance of a closely shaved or bust hairstyle on the scalp. It can also be used to enhance the density of existing hair by creating the illusion of fuller coverage. Make sure to contact SD Inc. as right now they are currently discounting $500 from your procedure if you mention Hoy Nomas Podcast. SD Inc., thank you for being a sponsor to the podcast. And if you have a business or would like to sponsor the podcast, feel free to contact us through Hoy Nomas Podcast on Instagram. Now back to the episode. Wait, did I mention about the hotline? No, right?
No, I think you were so concerned with doing it on your story.
Yeah.
And redoing it that you forgot about it right now.
Okay, I think that was a whole message on why we were doing this, but regardless, so something I wanted to share, I want to interact more with the audience, right? Because at the end of the day, the people that watch, the people that share the stories, I strongly, strongly believe that everybody's life is a journey and it's a story to tell, right? And at times, maybe you don't want to be on camera, maybe you don't want to come here physically because you're too shy or whatnot, which at the end of the day, everybody that comes to the podcast, they're like, oh, you know what? I was so shy at first, but then like I feel great after talking to you or whatnot. But regardless, some super big news to myself, right? Into the podcast that now we're going to be having a hotline to the podcast channel. And pretty much the purpose of this hotline is for you guys to find love, right? Nah, it's honestly going to be a number that you guys can leave a voice message behind. It's going to be through WhatsApp. And the number is 619-713-4176. I'll make sure to put the number right here. So the hotline to the number is 619-713-4176. And this number, you guys can leave me a voice message if you guys want to leave a video. Hopefully I get one or two that I can like choose from, right? Or if I only get like one or two, then I'll make sure to upload those two so you guys can like say what's up and see yourself or hear yourself on the channel. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for you guys. Or if you guys have like anything you guys want to share, if you guys want to be anonymous, just let me know. Hey, I don't want like to disclose who I am. Whatever you guys want, or maybe possibly we can even do a remote call through here. But that's going to be the purpose of this hotline for you guys, just to interact more with us, maybe even call in. So that's the number. Once again, it's 619-713-4176.
Okay. So you're going to, when they call in, is it going to be at a specific time? Like, oh, you can call in between this time to this time, or you're going to text them, or how's that going to work?
No, well, for the call-in, it's going to be like, obviously, I'm going to have it like scheduled with them, right?
Oh, okay.
But for right now, though, for the voice messages, whatever I receive, it's going to be there, right? Okay. So I'll be able to pick out. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, so obviously if I receive a whole bunch, then I'll select the one or two. But if I only have one or two, then I'll play those, right? But hopefully I'm really, really encouraging you guys to leave a voice message. Tell me what you guys like, maybe a podcast that you like. Tell me through the voice message. That way it can continue keeping us motivated to continue pumping out content and so on and so forth. What'd you think when I told you about this, having this outline for the channel?
At the beginning I was iffy, but then I felt like it would be kind of cool or interesting to do so, or to have the hotline with you.
Why were you kind of iffy?
First, because you needed to get a new phone, and you need to get a new phone number.
Yeah.
So that was one thing.
Yeah.
But I got that out of the way today. So
yeah. So somebody's saying I'm prank calling, laughing my ass off. Just kidding. But that's the thing. It's not my number. So it's a hotline. So you guys can do whatever you guys want. That's why I wanted to have a separate number. I'm not going to be here putting my freaking number on blast, you know?
I know.
Yeah. So you were kind of iffy, but so what motivated you to say that, like, oh, shoot, that's pretty dope?
I'm trying to remember what I told you earlier.
So what is it like? What's your thought process on this?
Well, obviously that you can have more interaction with the audience.
Yeah.
But then, that's when I told you that you can do like a group chat, or what was it, a broadcast or a channel?
Yeah, like a broadcast channel.
Yeah, on WhatsApp.
Yeah, eventually I'll go ahead and do that, but... Yeah, so we'll see. I briefly posted something on Instagram right before the podcast, and we'll see if I do receive anything. And hopefully if I do, I'll play one or two, whatever I receive, right? But, all right, so let's get started. So this episode, right now, as mentioned before, I'm currently going back through old podcasts. And right now, the ones that we've been clipping, what made me realize is that I was watching this podcast from Bradley Martin, and he was interviewing this guy, this Samoan guy that's into slap boxing, and out of nowhere he starts sharing a story that he did DMT, and whenever I listen to a story, it always captures my attention because I always like to see what's being said out there to the public, and because a lot of people take it as a joke, right, or they kind of downplay it as a joke. Luckily, this one, it was a pretty dope interview, and his experience was pretty amazing, at least to my point of view. But what I realized was that through this episode, my episode, and two other ones, there's been a lot of similarities between different people's experiences. Have you, by any chance, before I share the videos, Chelo, have you ever heard anything about like ayahuasca experiences that you're like, oh, wait a minute, this person has also experienced this through their ceremony, or they've also seen this, or they also talked to an entity? Have you heard of anything like that by any chance?
I feel like yours and your cousins was like that we live in a simulation.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
That's one.
So that's one. So that's true. So that's a good point. So think about that one. So I received a message that it was a simulation, right? That all of this life, it's constructed through a simulation. My cousin received the same thing. What else can you think of?
I feel like I've heard multiple times people talking to like entities.
Yeah. Because the one you saw was it was like a puzzle piece, right?
Yeah, I didn't really have. It wasn't human.
Yeah.
It really didn't have a face. It was just my best way to explain it was like a little puzzle piece that could talk.
Yeah. And when you were talking to Mother Ayahuasca, she didn't have a face?
No, it's like I could see from her shoulders down, and then from her, like from here up, it was just like a bright light.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, but I was never able to see her face, but I could tell, or I could feel her energy that it was a woman, and the puzzle piece was a male.
Interesting, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That without you even seeing their face or who they are, you know who they are.
Yeah, because even the body, it didn't even look like, I couldn't tell like, oh, that's a man's body type or a girl's body type. But you couldn't tell. I couldn't tell.
How did the body look?
She was wearing like a white cape.
Okay.
But
like a gown?
Yeah, kind of like a gown.
Oh, okay.
And she was wearing white, and then from the neck and up, it was just like if you just put on a light.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I couldn't see her face.
All right.
And that's how she was for the entire time. It's not like it changed.
Okay, so I'm gonna play this video. If you need me to stop, tell me to stop. Hopefully I don't get copywritten for this one, but I'm gonna play it. If you want me to stop for whatever reason, let me know.
Okay.
But I'll play this one, and then, or maybe if you, while you're watching this, if it reminds you of something, let me know, because I think it's gonna catch your attention to why I wanted to share this one.
Okay.
All right, so, and I'll put the video over there, babe, that other screen.
All right.
What'd you see? Can you like?
I like flew through, like out of myself. I went up into like this ball, and the ball just kept changing different dimensions.
And so your eyes are shut, and you're kind of seeing it all within.
Yeah, and then you see, I've seen this like Arabic stuff that I don't know now, but when I was in there, I knew what I was looking at. I could understand it. I understood everything. And then, it messed with me. I started seeing like all my, relatives that, already passed away. So it started getting emotional.
You started seeing faces, or you felt it?
No faces. It was just light. It was light, and I knew who it was.
You could feel that it was.
I feel like, hey, I know you,
And it was just what you saw though was just light.
It was just light, just like a little like beam of light. But I was breaking through, bro.
So similar to what he just said, right? Mm-hmm. He just saw light, and he knew who the people were.
Yeah. Like right now that he said to, ahorita me acordé, because he said, oh, I knew it was my family members. Like the second time that I did ayahuasca, I remember I told you I saw like a huge line of like ladies, like that they were all like making a single line.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like who are these ladies? And that's when I was told that those were all like my grandmothers.
But you would see their face?
Yeah, I would see their face.
Okay, their actual face.
Yeah.
Okay. So here he was able to see just pure light, but
Oh,
he knew
okay.
who they were.
Oh, okay.
So just based on the light.
Okay.
It was like breaking through dimensions. Boom, 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 and then I stopped. Just black, pitch black. Boom. Then you see this little light like from far. And I'm like trying to get to the light. This is dark. I'm scared, you know. I get to the light and it's just a whole bunch of lights just playing with each other. But it's everyone that I could possibly ever meet in my whole life.
So did you catch that? And that he got to a point where it was just a bunch of lights
Yeah.
playing with one another.
So like a bunch of energy.
Yeah. Do you remember why that's why I'm bringing that up by any chance?
No.
Okay.
All right there. And then boom, I started like feeling, you know, the experience fade away and then like start slipping back into my body. And then when I got back, I felt like unconditional love for anything and everything.
What about that?
Oh yeah, you've told me that one before.
Yeah. So something that, yeah, exactly, right? Something that I've told Chelo and multiple people, even through an old podcast, is that I've never experienced so much love in my life than when I did ayahuasca. When I did ayahuasca, it was just like, I even cried of how much love I was receiving. And that's exactly what he just said right now.
And I changed,
Watch.
start slipping back into my body. And then when I got back, I felt like unconditional love for anything and everything. And I just changed the way I looked at stuff. I'm a different person now because of it, for sure.
Crazy,
Yeah.
right? Insane. So now, so it was when I was listening to this, I was like, wait a minute. This person, not only is he seeing this white orbs, right? This beam of light.
Yeah.
But he's also experiencing unconditional love, right? And when I listened to this, it reminded me of my ceremony. That's why I was asking you if you remember that. And I have my experience right here that I've talked about it in the past. Check it out. Never in my life have I felt so much love until I went there. Bro, I felt so much love, I started crying, bro. Never have I felt that much love in my life. I started crying, and I remember in my ceremony when I was going, I literally felt like I was traveling through space. And as soon as I got, so that's something else that he said. He felt like he was breaking through different dimensions, traveling through space. So,
Yeah.
so there goes another comparison. To space, right? I was like, I'm home. Like, I literally felt like I was home. And felt like I remember seeing two white orbs, you know, going back and forth, almost like if they were playing. And you caught that? Insane.
Yeah. Now that you're talking about space, dude, like on my second ceremony too, dude, that's when I think I did tell you that I felt like my body, it almost felt like if I was like running a marathon or something, and then all of a sudden I just felt like my body went like, and I detached from my body, dude, because my body after I went like, it just felt so much lighter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. That's crazy. Dang.
So it's like
Yes,
another.
So it's crazy that people are having similar experiences, right?
Maybe not necessarily a similar experience, but
Well,
things that are common.
Yeah. Yeah, well, similar experiences,
I
right?
guess so.
Watch. I remember they told me like, hey, we were waiting for you. We were expecting you. And it was such a joyful time just being in this black space that I was like, man, I've never felt so much love. I feel like I'm home. And I've said this in other podcasts, right? But my biggest thing was that at times I felt the lack of a motherly, I guess, affection. And through ayahuasca, I got pretty much clarity on the reason why I was given to my mom was because my mom needed more of me than I needed more of my mom, right? So as souls, as spirits, right, at times we are guided to people that need us or that we're supposed to be in those people's lives. And that was pretty much the biggest and deepest message that I received, that I was given to my mom because she needed me more than I needed more of her. But Mother Ayahuasca told me, hey, even though you do lack that motherly affection and stuff, don't forget, even though she's your physical mom, that I am still your mother and I'm always going to take care of you. Never in my life. Crazy, right? So it caught my attention, the similarities, right? Yeah, everybody's experience through ayahuasca, their message, their final message is going to be different, but the experiences are very similar. Insane. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's almost like proof and evidence that there is this other dimension that people are able to enter through ceremony.
You know what I was remembering right now? When I think you sent me that TikTok earlier this week of the girl. She did, I don't know if she did ayahuasca or if it was something else. The one that she saw the aliens.
Yeah. Oh, why bring that one up?
Because of mine.
Oh, shoot, that's crazy.
Is she the one that did the sapo?
No, she did DMT, I believe. Oh, okay. So, okay, can you share a little bit of yours, and then I'll play hers.
So, when I did ayahuasca the second time around, I literally felt like the ceremony was coming to an end for some reason, and I was like, no, like I don't want to go back like over here. Like I wanted to stay there.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think you had told me that you wanted to stay there.
I just feel like it felt so peaceful that it's just like, dude, like I want to be here. I don't want to be like here.
Yeah.
And when I was like in that trance of like me feeling that at any point the shaman was going to say like, oh, you know, like start talking because it's towards that point of the end. That's when I saw an alien, and he said that they were real and they lived amongst us. And what else did he say? So that they were real, that they lived amongst us, and that there was like good ones of them and that there were bad ones of them. And that was pretty much it. But
yeah,
now I just remember the one of the girl.
Okay, so you saw alien beings, right?
Yes.
And then something, I don't know if we mentioned it in the past, which I'm still trying to get the shaman onto the podcast, right? But
the shaman has talked about it too.
Yeah. So the shaman has said that I guess he had a private ceremony with I think a close friend of his, and it got to a point that I think it was only them two, and when the ceremony was done, his friend was like, dude, was I tripping or something? But I saw some aliens here with us. And he's like, no, they were here. The shaman told his friend, like, no, they were here, and they actually did surgery on me, on my knee. And freaking mind-blowing, right? And I think I saved that TikTok that you're talking about.
And then right now you're talking about a surgery, and then the second time that I did ayahuasca, I got surgery on my hand, but I was never able to see who was doing it, and I could just see hands.
Yeah. So the shaman got a surgery done through ceremony.
Yeah.
You've gotten a surgery done through ceremony as well. And I'm just going to say it out there because you've said it. You've gotten healed. Well, to a certain point, you feel like you've gotten healed through ceremony, right? Let me see if I can find... Oh, it's right here.
The first time I ever did DMT, I left my body and I could see my body sitting on the couch, and then everything turned white and I was just floating in this white void. And then this line appeared in front of me and opened up, and 3 ETs walked towards me. And this is, I had never heard about ETs with DMT. I didn't know anything about psychedelics. I had not done anything like this. And these 3 ETs walked towards me, and they say, we are interdimensional beings traveling along the timeline of human existence, trying to find out when humans found their power. In 2012, a portal had opened where humans cannot go backwards, they can only progress forward. And the power of the human lies between, they pointed at the heart but said soul, the soul and the brain. And then the little line closed in the wall, and then I was back in my body, and I was like, what just happened? The first time I ever
So I don't know if you caught that, right? But they were saying that they're these beings, pretty much those alien beings, that they're traveling through a dimension,
Through different dimensions.
through different time dimensions. I think that's what she said.
DMT, I left my body and I could see my thing turned white. And then this line appeared in front of me and opened up, and 3 ETs walked towards me. And this is, I had never heard about ETs with DMT. I didn't know anything about psychedelics. I had not done anything like this. And these 3 ETs walk towards me and they say, we are interdimensional beings traveling along the timeline of human existence, trying to find out when humans found their power. In 2000,
Yeah, interdimensional beings traveling through the different time frames or something like that. Timelines. There we go. Dude, so much mystery to like even question what is life.
Yeah.
Insane, right?
Somebody woke up.
Yeah. You want to pick her up? If you can pick her up if you want.
Yeah, hold on before she gets cray-cray.
By the way, Teddy and the baby have been behaving pretty good. I'm very proud of Teddy that he hasn't gotten up. Let me see if somebody has left anything. Okay, so we have here. I'll put it on the screen. Hey, what's up, brother? Just want to wish you the best on your podcast and keep up the good work. Sending you nothing but good vibes. Ahí estamos al 100. Uriel. So I received the first message right now. Thank you, bro. If you watch this podcast, just want to say thank you. You're actually the first person to leave something on the hotline. So thank you. Appreciate it.
You know what you should do now that I just realized looking at the screen? That
What's
you
that,
should
babe?
probably black out their number.
I'm not going to post it there.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I can crop it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So the baby's looking at me. Yeah, so obviously I'm gonna edit all of that out. So I'm not gonna post their freaking number there. But it's because Chelo's able to see like the screen and she sees the numbers and stuff like that. But obviously I'm not gonna be sharing you guys' personal information there. And like I said earlier, if you guys don't want your actual name or whatnot, you guys can let me know. Hey, I want to be I want to remain anonymous. So cool. So there's actually one more that I wanted to share. When I was doing one of those clips that I've been clipping out, it was pretty much, it was the one of Isabel.
Okay.
That she was saying, and I don't know if you caught that or I don't know if you remember that Mother Ayahuasca, I think she said this. I think she said something along the lines that she had to go through it, experience it, and then
let it go.
And she had to let it go. I think it was Isabel that said that, right? And then it reminded me that Darcy had a similar experience, that she had to pretty much face the same thing. And pretty much what a Mother Ayahuasca or what this plant medicine does, as much as at times you don't want to relive certain things, right? It kind of puts you in that scenario that's going to make you go through that phase, that experience, for you to feel all these different emotions that you experienced at that day. One, because you've been like kind of setting it aside because it was probably a bad point of your life, right? Mm-hmm. But you have to go through that to experience it and to finally release it.
Yeah.
Right. So it caught my attention as well that multiple people have been put in this scenario and they go through these past memories that they've kind of set aside, but they're carrying with them. But Mother Ayahuasca puts them there so they can release all that energy and they can continue on with their life and be somewhat free, I guess you can say. So does that bring any does that make any
does it ring a bell?
Yeah, does that ring a bell to you by any chance?
It does, but I was never really told like you're gonna relive it and let it go. It was just kind of like, oh, remember this incident, and that's pretty much it.
Oh, okay.
But not like them, that they both said the same thing.
Yeah. So let me see if I can find it real quick. All right. Okay, so this is the video of Darcy, and she kind of mentions what we were just talking about right now.
I was so scared because my angels were holding my hand and like walking me to, like, let's say I'm walking into a room to see exactly what traumatized me.
No way.
I had to see the physical, the emotional, the everything. I had to relive it. And I was like, I don't want to see that. I'm trying to move past it. Like, I don't want to remember, you know? And they're like, you have to trust me. Stop holding on to all of this pain. You don't need it. Give it to me. And they're like, but you need to see what happened so that you can let it go because you haven't been wanting to confront it. And I'm just like, whew. And I was like, okay, I trust you. So the first one, I saw the reenactment. I saw myself, you know, getting hurt, whatever it was. And I surrendered. And like, I surrendered my pain. I literally felt like my chest a little bit lighter. Every single scenario that I had to relive, I was lighter and lighter and lighter until like at the end part, I had a few questions for like some people in my life. And I just kept asking, like, are they going to be okay? Like, I'm worried about them. Like, are they going to be all right? And, you know, my angels, Mother Ayahuasca, were like, they're going to be okay. And one of the last things that I saw was that I was getting married and that my daughter was at my wedding. And she looked like she was like 4, you know, and that was really important to me. Because I always wondered if I would be able to, you know, find somebody that would also care for her and that, you know, everything would be okay with her dad. It wasn't him. I didn't see, you know, that it was him that I was getting married to, but he was happy for us that I was getting married and she looked like she was like 4. So I was like, wow. It was what I needed to see because it had me like very down about, like I said, about having that image of not having that family for her. It was the closure that I needed and it just kind of like gave me hope that I would find that one day, and I believe it, you know. And I felt that, and I just thank like Mother Ayahuasca for taking away all of my pain that I had because I was really suffering. And like I said, I purged so much. I was so scared because I was so scared.
So something that she mentioned right there that I think you also went through
The trust?
The trust and the different emotions, right?
Yeah.
That she said that, oh, you have to experience this, you have to experience that.
Yes.
What was yours again?
So for me, when I did ayahuasca the first time, I remember that the first thing that I saw was like, I was in a room and it was pitch black. And then I saw the word feelings float. And then I remember at this point, that's when Mother Ayahuasca starts talking to me. And she was like, oh, you've been so stuck in survival mode that you've literally forgot what it feels to feel every emotion. So I remember she took me through every emotion, and then the last one was happiness. And she's like, oh, you've focused, not necessarily focused on every other emotion, but this is the emotion that you've most neglected. And I remember that's the one that she ended with. And she took me through every emotion. And then this is when the little helper. So the little helper appeared both times. The first time and the second time.
The same one?
Yes. Pero the first time, I remember when I was in that dark place and I was like going through my emotions. Everything was fine. And then all of a sudden I turned to this little being, which is a male energy. And he's like, oh, we need to start from the beginning of time. And I remember I turned to my left and I see a door open and there was like white light coming out of it. And then when he said like, oh, we need to do like a walkthrough of everything from when you were first born, I was like, hell no, like I am not trying to do this again. And he was like, no, like you have to, like you have no choice. You needed to go through the emotions and then we're going to take you through, you know, like from when you were born to right now. And I kept telling him, no, no, no. And then I remember I clearly said, like, why am I going to trust you if I don't even know you? And then he just said something like, oh, you need to trust me if you want to heal.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Do you feel like... Do you feel like you actually healed like some of those emotions?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
I'm not going to say it on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And look at you now. You have a baby
For
girl.
real.
You have a baby girl right there.
She's chilling. She's falling asleep.
I tell Chelo, like, let me make sure that she's on screen. I think she is. Yes, she is.
Oh my god.
But
Salida.
it's crazy though, because when, like, so far the baby's still like super super little, right? She's 2 months and a half.
She's gonna be 3 this month.
Yeah, she's about to be 3. But at times, like, just seeing the baby girl, like, with Chelo, and when I leave to work early in the mornings and I see both of them laying down, it's like seeing a little mini me of Chelo. Maybe, who knows what type of personality she'll have. Who knows if she'll, like, have my personality or hers. But right now, she's super, super attached to Chelo. Like, she's like your little friend.
For real. You know, something that's like, that stuck to me. Remember that girl I told you I met at work that she did the birth charts?
Yeah.
Okay, so she told me, she's like, oh, if your girl is born a Cancer, which she is, she's like, you and her are gonna clash in the sense that you're not very emotional, in the sense that you don't really cry for stuff.
Okay.
And Cancers are really emotional, so they're like más sentidos.
Yeah, and she's a
And
Cancer.
she's a Cancer.
Mm.
So we'll see.
Hey, baby girl. She keeps
But
on looking
she's
at me.
chilling, yeah.
The other day I was telling Chelo that I take the baby on walks here and there. Like, I'll put her on a pouch, right? And the craziest thing happened that, like, the baby, she always falls asleep like halfway through like the 30-minute walk. But then halfway through she woke up, and well, once we got home, and she wouldn't stop staring at me. She was just like looking up at me like for freaking minutes, just like staring at me. And she was just like at awe, right? And I was like, hey, baby, like, you know, and I had never seen her like
She wouldn't laugh or anything? She was just staring at you?
She was just staring at me, just like looking at me. It was even, I for some reason, the mailman like delivered some letters from the neighbor. So I went to go take the letters to the neighbor, right? That belonged to them. And she even saw the baby just like looking at me. She's like, oh man, she's like locked on you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she wouldn't even like look anywhere else. She was just like looking at me. Didn't you say that there's some meaning for that?
I saw in a book that I guess that's their way to express love since they can't talk.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. And,
But she laughs now too.
Oh yeah, she'd be laughing. Yeah, she'd be smiling and laughing. And let me bring up the one that that Isabel talked about, that she kind of had to let it go the same way. Let me see if I can find it, because it's a longer clip.
Out on the little cotton mat with my bucket.
Clips.
When it's time to actually finally take the medicine, the brew, how long did it take for you to feel the effects in you? Let me see if I can find it.
At first, I thought it wasn't him. I was like laying down, and I was like, oh, it hasn't hit me yet. I don't know how the hell I ended up outside.
What?
But I ended up outside. And so the first thing I can remember, because it took me a couple days to remember everything that I went through that night. Because
oh, wow. So you didn't remember everything right away?
No. It took me a couple days because I was such an emotional mess that I was crying like a whole week. And then little clips started coming up to me. And it did say that, like, sometimes you won't remember everything and stuff will come back to you.
Wow.
The first thing... Well, let me start by saying when she was explaining to me the process.
Yeah.
So everybody knows when you walk in, it's not like it's scary. Like when you first walk in, you feel the good energy. You smell the Palo Santo. You smell the sage.
Yeah.
And they hug you. So it's beautiful. You're not walking in and, hey, go sit there and let me tell you what to do. I want to let everybody know that. They're very welcoming. And then you feel the good energy. And then as soon as his wife started talking to me, I started crying.
Wow.
But because I already felt when she was like, you know, this is what you're probably going to do. And I just felt this hit of wave, just like, and I just started crying, like tearing up. And she's like, I already know this is going to probably be hard for you. Because she's also a chakra healer.
Yes, yes.
So she probably already knew when she walked in, oh, this girl got demons she needs to fight. She's going to need a little extra help.
Yeah.
So she explains to me the process. And then I go lay down on the little cotton mat with my bucket and waters. And
I'm just going to let it play.
Yeah? Okay, yeah, that's fine.
How many people were there, approximately?
At least 9.
Okay.
It was a lot of people.
Okay.
And everybody already knew each other there because I guess they've been doing it for years.
Yeah, he has a lot of people that go back to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I take it, it's disgusting. So you guys know.
It tastes like mud, right? Something like that?
I don't know what it tastes like. It don't taste good.
Yeah.
But it's very like a micro shot. It's very small.
Yeah.
So I guess some other people needed like boosts after that. Did you see that?
I take 2.
Oh, so you're crazy.
Yeah. So that's true. I've always taken 2 shots of ayahuasca. Do you only take 1?
No, 1. The second time. No, lies. The first time that I did ayahuasca that you were with me, I remember that I kept telling myself like, oh, this thing is not even hitting. It's not even hitting. And dude, I wanted so bad. I remember Ricardo said, raise your hand if you need another shot.
Yeah.
And dude, I remember I kept, según yo, I was having the most force to like lift my hand, dude. Like, no.
Oh, okay.
My arms, dude, like I kept telling my arm like, dude, move. Y no se movía. Like I kept trying to, and it was like if I had this weight on top of me and I just couldn't freaking move to any side.
So you only took 1?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Both times I've just taken 1.
I've always taken 2.
But I seen some people doing that. So as soon as I took it took a minute to hit me.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I felt like, okay, I think I need to pee. And then I'm like walking and it's dark. I don't know. That's all I remember. After that, I was like, and then it feels like my eyes are closed and I'm looking up. I'm assuming at the freaking sun. And I went back to a place where my aunt used to live in some apartments, and this is where we used to play cuando estaba chiquita.
All of this is happening after you went to the restroom.
I don't even know if I went to the restroom.
Oh,
I don't think I
wow.
did.
Okay.
I just remember getting up and felt like I needed to go to the bathroom.
And then all of a sudden you're experiencing this.
Yes.
Okay.
Like a full-on memory. I don't know. My eyes, I really don't know.
Wow.
I just remember like looking up. This is a memory because this really was a memory of me being little because I've had dreams about it. Was me looking up at the sky, mirando el sol, and in the grass, right? I'm looking up at it, and then I just hear yell, Isabel, métete al carro. And that feeling of like, oh, fuck. They're yelling. I don't want to go home. And this is me like 4 or 5 years old. Ya sentía el sentimiento. That's the message I was getting behind it. That feeling of, I don't want to go home. I'm scared kind of feeling. You know what I'm saying? So then I just see me being in the car and just watching the car go past by fences and all kinds of stuff. And then I'm assuming, I don't know if my eyes were closed or open, but I see Ricardo, the shaman, lifting me up. And I'm looking at him and he's fucking scared. Like his face is scared. And I'm looking at him and he's like, I'm screaming, I guess. And I'm like, and then I pause, like I fucking weirdo that I was, I guess. I pause and I'm like, why are you scared? And he's dragging me because I couldn't, I guess, lift myself.
Right.
And I was outside. So I don't know if I was doing a whole fucking pancho outside.
Right.
With all the neighbors scaring the shit out of people.
Yeah.
And he's like lifting me. And I'm hefty, so I feel bad. He had to carry me. And I'm looking at him like, oh, why are you scared? Like I went back to a mentality of talking like a little girl. I was talking like
that part.
That's another one, right?
Yeah.
My cousin, also when we were doing ayahuasca, he got to that point when he was laying down right next to me, and he got to the same point in his ceremony that he was also talking as if he was a little kid. So he traveled back through time and he was experiencing himself being a little kid, and I would hear him talking like a little kid. He would tell the shaman, "Get agua."
So does he remember talking like a little kid, or this is just your point of view?
No, he remembers, and I also heard him.
Oh,
like
okay.
I literally heard him. Teddy wants to go outside.
For real.
We'll wrap it up right now. Yeah. So my cousin actually traveled through, I guess, back in time to when he was a little kid, and I would hear him sounding like a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy that she was also experiencing. That's another similarity as well.
Yeah. So. Talking like a little kid.
Why are you scared? He's like, I'm not scared. But I could tell by his face he was fucking scared.
Wow.
And then I guess in the process of him trying to put me in the house, not back in the room, but in the house, I guess he said that I tried to choke his wife. What? At that point. Yeah, it was like a freaking exorcism. I didn't see nobody else up in that room running out, acting crazy like I was. But I did. So I guess I tried to choke his wife, and then I that's what he told me. And he's like, don't touch, relax. And I was yelling, saying, I want to go home. I want my mommy, please. I want my mommy. And then she's like, I need you to relax. Calm down. I want my mom. And I want my mom, please. I want my mom. And then his wife is trying to calm me down. She's like, ¿Por qué quieres tu mamá? What do you want? I just want my mommy, please. I want to go home. Please, I want my mommy. She's like, I need you to relax because you're scaring my kids, please. But it was just, I didn't know how to stop, if that makes sense. I didn't know how to, like, calm myself down. So she's trying to relax me. And she's like, I need you to calm down. And I kept saying it. I want my mommy. I want my mommy. Please let me go home. I want to go home. And she's like, remember, Isabel, you told me that this is what you wanted. Now do it. Tú querías esto. Ahora aguántate. She was telling me because I told her before I did the sermon, I was like, if I don't know how I'm going to react, just please remind me that this is what I wanted. You said you wanted to do this, now do it.
Crazy, huh?
And then she reminded me, I was like, okay, but I want to go home, please. I want to go home. She's like, no, you wanted it. You have to go through it. She's like, you need to surrender. And I was fucking fighting.
This is the part.
And I'm trying, but I'm fighting. I really said, I was like, I'm going to surrender. And I didn't in the beginning. So then she takes me to the bathroom because I felt like I couldn't breathe. I know this sounds fucking crazy, but I start rolling on the floor in the bathroom like I felt like I needed to take whatever I had on me. I was like, help me, please, just help me. And I'm rolling on the floor, and I guess I was hitting myself. And she's like, relax, you're hitting yourself. She's like, I was like, I'm sorry. And I guess I kept hitting myself. I was rolling on the floor. And then I guess she tells me, what's going on? I was like, Mom. And then I'm trying to remember because it was so much. I think I ended up in a corner in the bathroom, and she's like yelling Ricardo's name to come help her because I wasn't calming down. And then she's like, all right, he's going to touch you, okay? I was like, okay, just please help me. Take it out of me. I was like, please help me. And I was like, please help me. And then I just feel him going, and like putting his hands like this on my body and just going and spitting it out. What? Like this, spitting it out. And I just felt my body going, like, it was like a fucking, remember I told you it was like an exorcism. It felt, whatever lo que me estaba sacando, I felt it leaving my body. Wow. I felt it, and I could see him, and he's like blowing smoke around me. Like, I don't know what he did, but after he did that, I calmed down a little bit, and then I was able to surrender.
Hoy Nomas podcast.
Yeah. So, yeah, it puts you back in places that at times you don't want
to relive.
Yeah, to relive, but you have to because it's a part of the process to
let it go.
Yeah, to let it go and just being able to just be your true self.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you think, Chelo? And like I was talking about all these different similarities. Does it give you a different perspective, or you had already know that there's a lot of similarities?
I feel like I would hear everybody's story, but I wasn't really like, oh shoot, like this person has the same thing with this person, and then this person. I didn't put the dots together.
Crazy though, right? That all of this is happening. Similar experiences are happening. So, is the baby getting cranky?
Yeah, she's getting cranky already.
Yeah, you don't think she wants to eat?
I'll try giving her food right now. But
all right, so we can close it up right now. Do you want to just give her food real quick, and let me see if I can find the viral video of the week?
Oh, you know what another similarity would be too?
What's that?
But you didn't show this one.
Which
I don't
one?
Remember when you had Ryan over. Remember that Ryan told you that he got taken to hell?
Oh, yeah.
12.
And that doesn't ring a bell to you?
No. For which one? Who else experienced that?
The second time that I did it, do you remember? I told you that I literally saw like a devil emoji,
It was
And
but it was the emoji?
Well, it was a devil, but it looked like the emoji.
Oh, okay.
But it kept telling me like, oh, like come with me, and I kept saying no.
Oh shit.
And it appeared like 3 or 4 times.
Oh really?
And I was like, no.
So what would it do? Like it would just pop up randomly?
Yeah,
like,
it would just pop up randomly.
So you were going through your ceremony,
and then he would just pop out of nowhere.
Oh shit.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what that meant, and I don't know what I would have seen if I would have gone with it.
But no entity. Yeah.
But
did the entity or Mother Ayahuasca tell you to ignore it or anything like
no,
that?
she never said anything. She never said ignore it or go with it. But
yeah,
I just kept ignoring it here.
And that's one of the main reasons why.
She doesn't want it.
That's one of the main reasons why you should take both of them, the girl that we shared at first, and then the first person, the Hawaiian guy, they did DMT. What we did, it was ayahuasca, but the ayahuasca has DMT in there as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's all related, but that's the main purpose why whenever you do any plant medicine, you should be doing it and treating it with respect and doing it with a shaman. Why?
Yeah.
Because of instances like that, right? Because at the end of the day, they're almost like your guide through the ceremony.
Yeah, well, they are.
Yeah, they are your guide through the ceremony. That they're gonna pretty much be looking out after you.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, as there's good, there's also evil.
Yeah.
The baby's getting a little bit fuzzy to have Teddy here.
Want something too.
So let's leave a plant emoji, right? If you guys made it to this part of the video, leave a plant emoji. Let us know what you guys like. If you guys are excited about this hotline that you guys can call in. If you guys are looking for love, you guys can let us know. Maybe you guys leave a voice message here on the podcast and you guys find true love here. It's just here. Let me see if I ended
You're
up
making it sound like 12 corazones.
Yeah, let me see if I ended up getting another message. No, I don't think I did. Yeah, no. So it was just the first one that I received. So once again, I know it was kind of short notice when we posted this, but yeah. Any final words, babe?
Are you gonna end up doing ayahuasca this year?
I want to. I really want to. I'm a little scared just to do it again because it is a lot of process and it's a lot of purging that you have to do. Like I said, purging, and they can be either laughing, crying, throwing up, or whatnot, but it's just you never know what to expect.
Yeah.
The plant is going to give you what you need to heal.
That's true.
So what about yourself? Are we going to do it?
I want to do it, but I don't want to go together.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
I just don't want to.
Oh, okay. But why?
I don't know. I just feel like I need it now.
No. But why don't you want to go together?
Because I feel like I will be worried about you.
You shouldn't, though.
No, but I already know I am. So that's why I just rather not.
Oh, okay.
I just rather go by myself.
All right. So if you made it this far and if you like the content, I know this is we have the baby now. At times we might even have to have the baby here as right now, but she's getting a little cranky. Yeah. So
they plant
emoji. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. It'll really, really help out the channel. Any final words, Chelo?
No.
Okay. Like I always like to say, it's a greater risk not taking a risk. Till next time.
And see you guys. Bye.
Hoy no más.